Cool. I'm having deja vu. Wow, that was powerful.
Deja vu, huh?
Deja vu.
I think we were just weren't we just working? Yeah.
Yes, we were.
Wonderful.
Thank you
yes,
for your
and
insight. Yes, and.
Yes, and one yes. Yeah, that's all it takes.
The could.
Could. Yes, and coulds. Stopping, not saying what everyone else is saying, so that there's an awareness, there's a moment, there's a pause, there's a spark. That's different. What's that? What's that mean? What does that look at? What's fresh? It's new, not stale and old.
It's never stale when you're working with people because everybody has got something so unique. It always boggles my mind that. That's why I love my work as a therapist. It's never the same. So I asked a friend of mine last night, if you had $1 million, would you still want to be doing your job? And without any hesitation, she said, no. And I said, well, if I had $1 million, I would want to be doing even more of what I'm doing.
That's awesome.
How lucky, hey?
Yes, it is.
So I had an aha earlier, Jesse, about the dream I had, and what do I really want? I want to be able to do what comes naturally and what my skills are and give to the world my gifts. But at the same time, balance that with the needs of my family and my husband and all those other things.
Why are they separate?
Well, that's the point. That was the awareness. It's like there were times where I had Greg make a comment while I was on a call, and then I realized that including him is part of that integration. That if I was going to travel, we would travel as a family and have experiences as a family, not separate the two. It was like another BFO, a blinding flash of the obvious.
Yeah. And then when you see it, it's like, oh, no wonder it wasn't working out the way I wanted it.
Too much compartmentalizing. And I'll add to what compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
I'll add to what I was saying is that it's not only that every time you work with somebody, you're working with something different, but that you change. And you evolve and you grow because of the person that you're working with. Because you're always being presented with another facet of life. You're always seeing more of what you love.
If you're looking for it. So if your colleague that you mentioned earlier.
It wasn't a colleague, she was a friend of mine.
Oh, a friend. Okay.
Yeah, her job is different. Yeah.
Oh, different line of work. I gotcha.
Yeah.
So
it was just the contrast between. Sorry, Jenny.
No. I'm glad you clarified. I was thinking if that other person was in the therapy world, they were probably taking on But depending on what the other occupation is, you wouldn't want to do it if you had the $1 million.
Mm.
That's telling in and of itself.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah. And when I got burnt out like that, I think I would not have wanted to do it anymore.
So it goes back to what is real fulfillment? Isn't it realizing in this moment you have everything?
Hmm.
And when you feel like it's a future state, that's when you're robbing the present of the joy that's here.
Yes.
That's,
And when, sorry.
no, you're good. Go ahead.
And when you're imagining that you have to run a marathon to get to that future state, right? Whereas when you can, when you are able to experience the beauty of where you are inside of you, you can still see that you have a journey in front of you, but you feel the confidence of having the support. And for me, the experience of being embraced and held by the energy of love itself, of life. And you trust that that will take you through.
You have an amazing capacity to do that, Allison. And I'm thinking of the people that don't see that in themselves. How do you learn that? How do you not look at the circumstances and judge everything by what's going on around you or the negative emotions other people are exhibiting? How do you not respond in that way, but raise to that space that you just mentioned of being held in love and life?
Well, I got there through community. From quite a young age, I experienced, for want of a better word, but I experienced trauma as well as love coexisting.
That's a beautiful gift.
It's an
And
enormous gift.
And so it's there, but many times the trauma seems bigger than the love for many people.
Yeah. And it felt like that for me at times in my life, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look back, then I see that there was an unconscious, I don't know if you can call it an unconscious experience, but there was a knowing somehow, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to have done what I did do.
So it's like Steve Jobs says, you can't connect the dots looking into the future. You can only connect them looking back. So you can see now that support that you had, but while the trauma was happening and the experience was happening, you didn't necessarily see it.
Yeah.
And yet we all have traumas and we all have times where we haven't felt like we were held in that love.
Yes.
And the gift that we have to offer today is knowing even when it looks like that, you still have it. So as we experience it going forward, we know, even though I may not see it or feel it, I know it's there.
Mm.
Oh, Jesse, you're muted.
Thanks. What anchor would you give your market?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm. peace and love.
Which one?
I'll go with love.
Mm.
That covers it.
Mm.
Okay. Why don't you guys do it?
Are you suggesting the anchor in a part of the body or just a general anchor?
Whatever your market would want.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I learned something that when I'm feeling that vibration of love, and people can get to that place by thinking of a pet or a child and actually feeling that unconditional love in this moment right now, I can find a knuckle on my body or on my fingers, and I can push that knuckle and hold that feeling, and then turn the dial up on that feeling. And when that feeling is at 6, 7, 8, 9, at the highest point, hold the knuckle at the peak and then release. And then when I want to feel that feeling again, I can test that. I can say, oh, look at the beautiful sky right now, change the subject. What did I have for lunch? Whatever. And I can do it again. And I can build that feeling up inside of me or with a client. And we can feel that feeling till it reaches its peak and then hit that same knuckle again. Hold a knuckle, something I like to do the knuckle. But you could find a different place. And when you release that, and you do that several times, you anchor that feeling to pressing the knuckle or whatever body part you use. But for me, I'm just using that as the example. So we have anchored that unconditional love feeling.
We didn't. You did.
Well, I have anchored it, yeah. So I'm inviting you to do it if you would like to. And as we do that and build that love and that feeling, if you have a place that works for you, but we generally suggest squeezing your wrist or a knuckle or something that you wouldn't normally, like if you're clapping hands, you wouldn't do that because you clap your hands for other things, but something that's kind of unique to you. You find that place that you, as we build that together, if you'd like to do it together, we can. And I'd invite you to join and add whatever words build that feeling for you. So for me, I think of my daughters and my husband, and I feel love, and my friends, and I feel that love. Some people feel that love from their deity or their God, and I feel that as well. Maybe even just looking at a baby's face, just imagining a beautiful, innocent baby's face, and you just feel that unconditional love that has no expectation and is just aware and just embracing that and feeling that feeling and letting that feeling permeate every cell of your body and just allowing it to grow like a light. And breathing into that. And when you breathe out, release anything that's not love and breathe in just love. You can actually anchor it into your whole body that way. And just feel it like a light and turn the brightness up. And with every breath, feel it grow bigger. Now it's outside of your body. It's permeating the room you're in. What would you add, Allison?
I'm so far into it. I don't think I've got anything to add.
Mm. Well, now it's grown beyond me to Allison's world, where she is in Canada. Jesse, where you are in California. Do you feel it? Do you feel the love? Is it growing beyond this Zoom call to anyone that might listen to it outside of this space? I see it growing beyond the atmosphere to the stars and the galaxies beyond, and just reverberating that light of pure, unconditional love. Touching every corner of consciousness in this instance, right now. No boundaries. With every in-breath, I feel it growing bigger. What would you add, Jesse? Nothing. So I would just ask if you smell popcorn. Break the state. I feel tingly. It's a joyful tingle. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.
Wonderful. You did it once, yeah, or however many times, but it's once, and in that is something you could give to your market.
Wow. Nice gift.
Wouldn't it be?
Definitely.
Wouldn't it get them something where they want to be? And it's didn't cost us anything but 6 minutes.
Mm.
Available for everyone anytime, putting it on the web, putting it as an ad, someone seeing you. Oh, there they are. Now, how do I find more of you?
Mm.
Oh, and it's a tool that they can use every day if they remember to use it. They won't. We went through it once, probably not set for them. Quite sloppy, confusing, and not very pointed. So
more work for me. Thank you.
They wouldn't follow. A newbie wouldn't follow that.
Hmm.
What else could you give them?
The experience of conversation between two people or three people.
Mhm. Mhm. Another one. Double bubbles, another one, to experience a magnetic moment, to experience neutral, to experience the moment of now. Yeah, for them to see, well, where is my tendency? Where's my majority charge? What is my majority of thinking? Where's my time and space? You know, those are all places that bring awareness to it, and giving them tools, helping them see it, helping them out of their situation. That's Jesus. Like, even give someone a little nugget of gold in the struggle they're in, they're going to want to look for you more.
Hmm.
Yes, and how do I find you next? Oh, make it easy. This is how we go to the next one. This is how we go to the next one. And it's just information. Yeah, it was like, oh, we delivered it once. Boom, it was all happened to be recorded. It was like, you could put that one up. I think you can do another one and focus it. Yeah, I put you on the spot. You did great with what you have. Yeah, yeah. And you can put it there, and the way is like, oh, do they look for more? Do they come back? Do they want something else? It's like, yeah. Then it's like, then it works. Now we can go to the next one. Lead them, guide them, take them where you want them to go. Give it away for free. Damn it, give it all away for free. Because it's not the transformation that you're paying, that they're paying for. They're going to be paying for what you guys create.
What's the difference between the two?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd say your starting position first.
The transformation.
Comes
Not paying for.
from,
Go ahead.
sorry, Gigi. No, go.
No, I'm just trying to clarify. The transformation is not what they're paying for. They're paying for what you create. Or what is created with them, or what we create for the experience.
And then we have to build a belief that the transformation can take place in that.
Hmm.
Building trust, value, authority, and leadership. Those are the four things you're building. Always. Trust, value, authority, leadership. Trust, value, authority, leadership. You do an anchor that works, that they can use any moment. Every time they do that, they'll remember that. And some of them won't use it ever again. They won't come back.
And that does that trust I'm just thinking that trust can come about through demonstration,
Hmm.
right?
Yes, and value will come through the demonstration. So the trust is, or Jenny, you spoke, at first you gave, this is what we're going to go through. Going to go through it. This is what you're going to experience. This is how it's going to be useful. This is what it's going to be there for you. This is how you can use this. And you did that. You walked us through what that would be. You can tighten it up. Yeah, we all agreed with that. And then it's like, okay, now I take you through it. Floomp, 3 times. Floomp, flump. And then at the end of that, they'll know. It's like, all right, now test it. Oh, you're right. Wow. I know. Talk next time.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, see, I can do that
Whole
like
week.
Yeah.
Come
I-
back again. Here we are. We're back at it again. How did that work last week? Let me know. Did you practice it? What did we do? Now what are we going to do?
mhm.
You got 20 some processes and a recode to throw. I mean, that's weeks of work.
Mm.
I know I put you on the spot, right? But putting on the spot is a demonstration of what's available
Mhm.
Yeah.
for
and
yourself, no one else. No one else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you go back and listen, just listen to all the different paths you gave them. And if you're guiding, it's like as someone that's new, that is disoriented, that is nervous as hell, sitting here in front of you, listening to you do something, it's like simple, clear, very less talk.
Mm.
This is what I want you to do next. 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 Now we're complete. All the other words that we put in there, yeah, they help, right? They can help, but they can also distract.
Yeah. And we can distract ourselves with our own words.
Mhm.
It's a powerful, powerful process. Yeah, that can be given for free over and over and over again. And if they learn how to do it because you walked them through it, it's like you can do it with anything. Have fun making your own.
Mm.
My gift to you. See, now you're opening space for them, space for them, space for them. Dang, I ain't getting that anywhere else. Everyone else is just talking to me. And I can't follow it. I don't follow what they say anyway. That's a way.
Mm.
All right, feed me back.
Give a tangible tool with clear direction and test it to make sure they've got it. Less words. And invite them to come back for more.
How would that separate you?
Well, giving it away versus charging for it. On the one hand, would build trust, but it would also it would be giving value.
Is it your most valuable gift?
No.
Then what's the problem with it then?
Mm.
Why hold on to it?
It's one of many gifts. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your most valuable gift?
Heart.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Can they get to that one in 50, can they get to that one in 6 seconds, 6 minutes?
No.
No.
Hmm.
Well, in a way, if you're giving from your heart in that one tool, yes.
But they'll want more. Because people need more, because it's not very readily available.
That's right. So the aim is to get to the wizard's gate. And then what to do after the wizard's gate is how to create with it. And bet your ass. I don't know how long it takes to get to the wizard's gate. That's what we're figuring out. Yeah. So they're in neutral. And then they're there and it's like, oh, I want to create. I want to have the structure of creation. They're going to go look around for places that are doing that. And who's leading the way? You. All you want, like I think what we want to do is align and connect our passions. So align and connect them to their passions with other people. And it's like, those are all gifts.
Yeah.
That's where they start to pay. Now they're paying all the way through, right? Don't forget that they're paying with their time. We're always paying with our time.
You're paying with our heartbeats.
That's what I was thinking about when you said that.
Or paying by paying attention to you, by listening, by following, by allowing you to guide and lead them. They are paying you. Honor that. It's not money. Sorry, it's not currency. It's money. So what other things could you do with them? It's like an anchor. I mean, and Chris does a very good job of laying out the easy processes to the hardest ones. It's like, follow that. Oh, did you like that one? Well, how about this one? It's the next one. It's the next series. Oh, build it up, amplify, like compel. And I mean, you give me 5 minutes to do an anchor. I don't have enough time for that because I'm not going to be the guy that's going to go over a 3-hour meeting. Don't do that to me. No, that's my boundary. Don't. Next time. We'll have to do it next time. I need 15 minutes. You didn't ask how much time I needed. You just assumed I could do it in 5. Bullshit. Not you. It wasn't you guys. It was another group I was part of. What a horror. Oh. So find what people do and get 30% success with, and you'll blow it out of the water no matter what.
Yeah.
Wherever anyone's happy with 30% success rate, I mean, that is just the placebo effect. And if it's anything else, you're bullshitting yourself. I mean, the more and more I look at it everywhere in my career, that's what I've done. It's like, oh, everyone's happy with 30% success rate. The F are you thinking? It's good enough. It can't be better. It was my first business. Everyone was happy with the 30% success rate. Why? I can't do enough of them. With 30% success, I have to be very selective on where I go. Oh, well, how do we get 100% success rate? Well, you don't doing that, obviously. You do less of them. If you're going to get 100%, you do less of them. And that doesn't do anybody any good. How do I do more and get higher percentages, higher success rates? Oh, well, what do you, oh, so I do it now. No matter what, I really can't lose. Yeah, exactly. Price of oil drops to $15 and you still get a 55% success rate. How often is it going to drop to $15? Not very often. Not very often. likely it's going to be higher than that. Now, success rate goes up just a little bit, but well, how do we get to 100%? Well, you don't. You do 0.
So is it incremental improvement?
No, it's doing it completely different. It may be the same stuff, but it's a whole different. Find out why the focus is where it is, and it's all structure. It's all structure. I mean, currently, Allison knows I'm in a recovery group, right? And we're working through this recovery group, and I'm sitting here going, "Oh my God!" For 3 hours, just give me more and more information, plug it into your head, and it's like this is serving no one. The placebo effect is going to guarantee those that want to stay clean and sober will be there, and those that don't are going to leave. That's 66% of them. That isn't serving anyone. Oh, and we should just talk about triggers. When you're triggered, what do I do when I'm triggered?
Become aware. You're
Well,
being
we know what to
charged.
do with it. We know what to do with it, but it's like they have no answer for when you're triggered. So I said, well, okay, you don't like when that happens. So you play that role, and now go. What are you going to say when that happens next time? Because we all know it's going to happen again. Well, I do this. Just unpacks all the shit that's in there. And he comes to us like, oh, you feel like my wife. I'm sorry, you feel like my mom, wife. So now what would you say when she asks you that? What would you say? Well, I would do this. How did that feel? It's like, oh, it was a little weird. Well, I felt uncomfortable. It's like, hey, good, you did it for the first time. Now you're ready for the second time. Do you think it's going to get better the next time she asks? Of course it is. So how do you let go of it? You do this. Put yourself through the situation. I challenge you to do an anchor. Put you on the spot, force you to do it. It's the experience of it. You didn't like it. We don't like it, but don't avoid that unliking it, because there's pain, there's uncertainty, and we all got to work at it. That's for everyone. Everyone is in that situation. No one can get out of that.
But that's also how we create.
Only when we're looking at creation and not avoiding.
Yeah. So just pointing that out to people. I mean, that for me, that was an affirmation of what I had experienced. I didn't have the words. So learning about structure gave me the words.
It gave you the ability to listen for what words to use. I'll add that to it. So yes, it's that, but it's like when the words are there, then you can use it, move with it. But I think it's the listening aspect in that context that you're working for, because it's a structure. You're listening for the underlying structure, and you're like, okay, where's the resistance? Because there's always tension in a structure. And it's like you're listening now at a deeper level, not of just what's being said, but also what's not being said. And that's inside of the tension. What are you avoiding and what do you want? There's nothing more than that to listen for.
God.
Even though there's 15 different cognitive dissonances, filters, perspectives, positive, every one of them pointed to something negative. It's like, why don't we just talk about negative? And if we talk about negative, we'd have to talk about a positive. Well, yeah, what do I want? Why can't I have it? Wobble, giggle. Oh, what's the obvious action? every time, every time, every time. It almost gets boring. It never does. Because it's different every way, every time.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier, right? And it ignites something different in everybody.
Life force, life force, life force. Why can't you have it? Part X. Oh, why? Where does part X come from? Oh, because of our pain, because of the uncertainty, and that everything requires work. Everything requires an action. Those are better words. It requires an action that needs to be taken. And every action is just a string of pearls.
Mhm.
Put another pearl on that string, put another pearl on that string, and it doesn't matter because we don't know which action is going to be the breakthrough. You have to take the action because they build on each other. So my aim would be like, I have avoided doing this type of stuff with this group of people and I got busted for it.
How did you get busted?
It doesn't matter. Point of it is I was avoiding it. I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to deal with it. And now I get to deal with it.
Mhm.
Mm.
I knew it.
What
I
we
knew it.
resist persists. That
And it'll show up and be like, I see that's where you were supposed to be. Yeah, you can't see it in the moment. Don't see it in the moment. Only when it happens. Like, all right, fine. I had to learn that lesson. I got it.
dang it, darn lessons.
The pearls.
Well, there's a poem that I don't have it handy, but I was decluttering and I didn't let go of it, but I'll have to send it to you later. But it's about an oyster who was getting upset about the sand under his shell, and it was irritating him to no end. And then in the end, it became a beautiful pearl. So that's the end of the story. But the poem is quite cute about what if we realize that everything that gets under our skin is just a pearl in the making.
I gave up on oil so that oil could find me.
Slick.
That's what I do now. You know? By giving them what they want. And it's not oil they want, not anymore.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
How does structure fit that one?
What do they want? Why can't they have it?
Hmm.
And what is the obvious action they're taking?
Hmm. So with behavior and unconscious identities, sabotaging identities, actions almost repeat themselves. Well, they do. Patterns repeat themselves.
Hmm.
And without awareness, it's Groundhog Day.
Yes.
Insanity, craziness, and then I mean whatever you want, and frustration, anger, stress, anxiety, all of that.
Yeah.
Because our past has rewarded those that have done what we want to keep doing. Ta-da! That's structure.
Hmm.
And we are all in a new structure. COVID broke down all of that to say, here's a new space. What are we going to do with it? We're going to learn how to create.
Different.
Don't know how. We don't know how to do that. We're looking for people to guide us, to lead us, to demonstrate it. And if you don't, so let's just assume that someone was able to change the climate. Let's just say, practice. Let's just say it's me. Like I get recognized for that. What is that going to produce?
A different atmosphere.
And inside of learning how to create that, being that there's a solution that people are going for, there's nothing to do with it now. Point of it is that people are going to be like, we want to do that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
How did you do that? Where did it come from? Do you see, everybody wants to go back to the story to learn how you got to that point. I don't care, but that's the structure.
Yeah.
Trust, value, authority, and leadership. It's done before people want it.
Okay, so what comes to me with this, JC, also is you create far more effectively from the now than what you can, even from wisdom.
Oh boy.
It depends on how you're using wisdom.
So wisdom is the learning without the charge from the past. But if you're creating from the now is larger than the wisdom.
So is the past even relevant?
It can be, but sometimes it will also slow
It
the
can
future.
be an
creation.
anchor too, not in a good way. It can be a ball and chain anchor
Yeah,
because, oh, we never did it that way. We're not going to.
yeah.
Yes. That's
That's
a charge of uncertainty.
Yeah, that's just weird. We don't do it that way.
Or whatever, and just see how it's a limitation that's looking backwards that has nothing to do with what you want.
Yeah. I mean, you think about AI,
Yeah, let's talk about that, because it's what people are honoring and giving grace to, and it's a structure too that's flawed.
What's the flaw?
You tell me.
There's no heart.
That's one. Not yet. Did you see that they're connecting it to brains now?
Yeah, I
Oh.
mean, Elon Musk didn't say what he said for nothing.
Yeah, that's even in like they're growing brains now that are connected to AI, so that the AI has that capability. So anyway, let's look at what is, as we know, AI. We call it let's call it AI chatbots. That's a big thing, right? That's right now. So what is the limitation of AI?
It doesn't have consciousness.
Okay.
It gets informed by ours.
That's right. So it takes the past, regurgitates it, and pulls it apart and says, oh, there's 99% chance that this is the right answer, because based on everything that people have said in the past. How does it know right or wrong, except for that someone has said it?
It cannot create.
There you go. So it can't create. It's all only regurgitating the past. There's nothing new in it. That's just more of what we've been doing. Yes.
Repeating
Whoa.
patterns.
But
it's even worse though, isn't it? Because it's entrenching patterns.
maybe not always.
Or it's bringing awareness to patterns too. So that might be good.
Yeah. There's good in it. Somebody like, oh, there's that, but it doesn't speak to that, right? And nor do we orient to it, because we say, oh, there's the truth from you, AI. Yay! Oh, chatbot, you told me everything I wanted to hear. Oh, you're so elegant. I love you.
Blah. So our own poop doesn't stink.
Never. I don't do that.
Blame it on the dog.
Just you do that, not me.
The dog does it.
Everyone needs a dog.
No.
Um, so, and I'm just, so going from the now, when you go from the now, you have to dig deep. You have to go inside of you. And people will say, well, what does that mean? So there's a whole, and why does it make sense to me and not to somebody else? And I come up with the answer that I was introduced to a training, a way of being in life that spoke differently to the culture that I was brought up in. It spoke differently to life. And geez, so how, anyway. So in some ways, then I guess I was talking to Jenny's daughter earlier today. And it just comes to mind to me again. And also, so what I was talking about was about presence, about just being in yourself, experiencing that light within yourself, trusting it. I mean, I wasn't always able to do that. I could do it in a context. I couldn't necessarily do it on the spot. And I'm not saying that I can always do it on the spot. You guys know that. But more and more practice that I get, the more I'm able to do it. So that is something, in some ways, AI does manage to do that because it grows, it develops its connections as it goes along,
Oh
right?
boy, you bet. Medicine, yeah, journals like where there's so much information that we can't keep up with. Oh, without a doubt, yes.
Yeah.
Focused, aimed, directed, without a doubt.
Yeah, so it does create in that way, but our capacity to work above that level is what needs now to be developed.
You have to, otherwise it's going to be, at some point it'll go the other way and then we're screwed.
Yeah.
So
So
it can't, it won't happen.
but where do you want to place yourself? Where do you want to be as an individual? Do you want to be able to take on the challenge to live to live using it in the same way that one might use wisdom? I know, Jenny, just hang on a second because I know you're going to balk at that. But in some ways, wisdom is information without charge. So if we think about it like that. So that's what AI does. It uses information. It's got no emotional charge to it. So then the question is, what is it that we have in our bodies, because we have it, that we haven't developed yet?
It's so much better finding patterns than we are.
Intuition.
So much better at the patterns. Intuition is completely different. Intuition is is completely different, because I don't think intuition and wisdom you could kind of the same thing, but they're
No, they're not.
They're not.
because
They're not the same.
They're not
They're
the same.
mental faculties. Both of them are mental faculties, but they're very different.
Intuition.
Go ahead.
Go, Jenny, go.
No, you go.
Intuition is a mental, it gets translated into a mental faculty, but it is a combination of the connection literally in your body between the nervous system and the energetic field that you live in. It's a line, that experience of the energetic field in your body. And when you get that, you have experiences that you don't have words for yet when you first experience them.
Which goes back to the person you were talking about earlier and their experience, where they realized there was none of this matters. There's something beyond all this physical world.
Yeah.
And yet I'm of this world, but not I'm in this world, but not of this world. And then when people are petty about stuff, it doesn't matter. And there's a desire to be in a different environment that's at a higher vibration. That is not AI.
Exactly.
And
That
the
is not
ability to be aware of where your body is vibrating, if you will, is not AI either. And being aware of other people and your impact on other people vibrationally, energetically, is a unique ability as a human being that is not something that you can reproduce with a computer.
not until we point out that's what we're doing, and then use the computer to match the programs, to
Yeah.
look at it, to match the patterns, not programs, the patterns.
Mm.
Yeah.
Which means we have to get there more as a person, as a people, to be able to start managing and tracking that with a hypothesis of something.
Yeah.
Mm.
And as you spoke that, it was like another, like the genius anchor is one, or the confidence anchor, the anchor of love, unconditional love, like what we walk through is one. The other one is such a powerful process for people, is the wisdom process that Chris teaches.
Yeah.
End result, and what's the obvious action? Well, that wisdom, intuition, whatever, that's where I connect them to that.
Yes. Yes.
Because it has
Intuition
nothing, it's
guides
nothing based on
action.
the past. Yeah, it's nothing on the past. And it's your heart. I mean, in
That's
all reality, what is your heart saying the next obvious action is? Take that.
just doing it. And it doesn't have to make sense intellectually. Mm.
That's the editing, when it trying to make sense, or expect that it makes sense, or expect like how, why, blah, 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 is all bringing in the past into new information. So season two or week 2, step them into their heart, which is wisdom process.
Mm.
Experience that. I was like, oh man, when you have that, you're stuck at any moment. Put the anchor on. If the anchor doesn't work, do the wisdom process, right? It's like, oh, these little tools for their toolbox.
So Bob Proctor talked about your 5 senses are related to your body and your sensation of the world, sight, hearing, and all that. But your mental faculties are perception, reason, intuition, imagination, will. There's one more. But You get the point. And those faculties are what's so important in living life. So if we just look at perception, you can look at one event and you could see it one way, I could see it another way. And however many people see the event will see a different part of it. And so that perception can't always be trusted as truth. And when we do take it as truth, that's where we get frustration, expectations, and all of the things that cause us to stop living in the now. But it gives us the ability to reason and to think, oh, maybe this isn't the only way to see this. And our imagination is, how do I want it to be? And what's my next intuitive step to get there that doesn't make any sense to anybody else? That's the magic of the mind, they call that.
Magic of could.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like could on me rather than should on me.
Yeah, could on me, could on me all the time. Yeah. Yeah, and so when it's that, it says, so then we begin to listen for that in their language. Are they coulding their language?
Mm. Or should
Or
or have
shoulding,
to.
woulding, can't. Yeah, well, that is like and it's
I used to be a member
limiting
of that, Jesse,
open.
the shoulda, woulda, coulda club. Yeah, all
I
of
mean, it's
those.
structure. We anticipate, we know everyone is. I mean, I'll ask you right now. It's like, can you immediately tell the difference between someone that's creating and someone that's stuck in their problem solving orientation?
Yes.
Is it so obvious that it's like almost, it's like comical?
Yes. The harder one is when it's myself.
No, yes, it's easy to see in others. I mean, that's the beauty of us, is that we can see, of course, see it in others, which is why judging is so easy for us.
Mm.
But that same judge out there, then we remember, oh, damn it, that's selfish. I'm greedy. I'm it's like, because then I have to judge myself to that standard now.
Mm-hmm.
No one sees the automatic as judge. No one sees that you could do something other than judge.
Could discern. Because when you discern, then you can look at, is this problem solving or is this creative? Is this masculine action or is this feminine action? Is this tension, creative tension, or is it stuck tension?
Mm.
Every word has a charge.
Mm.
And culture, society has created the structure and the tension.
Mm.
Yes. And there are parts of society that I was lucky enough to encounter, which facilitated my being able to experience the love more than the judgment.
Mm.
And it taught me to go inward to find that. Not that I didn't have to have it in the outer world, not at all. But the more I had it in me, the more I would be able to experience it outside of me.
And that's the journey we're all on.
Mm. Mm. And our whole lives long. Because there is just more and more.
Pain, uncertainty, and obvious action. Yep, more and more for everyone. Part X, that damn Part X. The
And
villain,
more,
the villain.
yeah, but also more love, Jesse.
Yes, yes, the villain. So that it's the villain is information to say, we're off, we're out of alignment. We're not, there's something here else. Oh, what could it be, part X? What could it be, part X? Oh, intuition. There you go. Spice of life.
Your eyes lit up when you said that.
I love that idea that the villain is actually just a thought. And there's so many, like I've just noticed with the conversation we had earlier, in a certain work environment, people are striving to find a villain outside of themselves. And so if someone
Why?
refuses to take that job on, they find someone else. So why do they do that? Looking inside is painful.
Mhm.
Looking inside is a mirror. I've got to look at me. I don't want to look at me, so I'm going to blame you.
Mhm. That's it. Blame. We got to blame something. Something's got to be blamed. And if we really dig down to the deepest patterns, we have words that were created as a child that blame ourselves.
Mm. But to survive, we can't blame ourselves.
Yeah, very good point, Jenny. Very, very good point. To thrive, we have to be able to experience love greater than the pain, or not even greater, just that it has got an equal chance.
Mm. The
We
could,
just yeah, exactly.
it could exist where the pain is. Just that door opening.
Yeah, alongside it.
That's a double bubble.
Is another good exercise and demonstration for people to experience.
Mm,
3-chair.
I love the 3-chair one. Those two are very similar, don't you think, in their outcome?
Yeah, there are different intentions. So one is a relationship, like we got a dysfunctional relationship with something out there, and the double bubble is more of a replacing an
State.
Highly
attachment.
charged emotion. Yeah.
And so yeah, they are very similar. One is like a reactive charge that you can eliminate, and then the 3-chair is the relationship to it, so that you can use, work with, work together. One's a feeling, one's a word. That's a good way to think of it.
Yeah, like the double bubble, if there's a strong charge resistance to something.
Avoiding, yeah, you're avoiding something, and it's like you need to look at, why am I avoiding that feeling, that charge, that emotion? What am I avoiding it? And then the other one's, why am I avoiding that relationship? Why is that relationship with something limiting me?
Yes. So I have an experience in my body now, after decades, that my essence is larger than my physical body. So when I find this when I've worked with patients that are terminal, and I haven't had hundreds of patients that are terminal. But the patients that I have worked with have all been with me because they know that I honor the spiritual window. So double bubble, what comes is always that double bubble of the pain of accepting their bodies disintegrating, and what is going to be both in 3D and when they're gone. So the 3D when they're gone is for their family. And then when they're gone, when they've left their body. Sorry, so I'm processing this as I'm going on because I never actually did double bubble with them in the form that we know it in NLP. But those were always the states that we reached. And for myself, in those times when things were very tricky, that's also what I found the most important and productive and creative. So it is that double bubble state of the one outcome is that you're going to die. The other outcome is that you're going to live. What is important? What is really important is what are you going to live with and what are you going to die with?
Hmm.
And all the work was always around that. And when we would get to that place of going through the pain and the shock of the death, but then the validation of what had been achieved, what could be done, and the nurturing and the energy and the creativity that came from that through the mirroring, and not just the mirroring in therapy sessions, but bringing in collateral mirroring, right? So from their family, from friends. I'm trying to think, what was my point with bringing this up? My point with bringing it up was, I don't know how I would do it with people that didn't already have that window.
Well, the double bubble to me, Allison, is the charge. Maybe the fear of dying is so strong that they can't live the moments that they have now.
Yes.
So how I perceive the double bubble is accepting both outcomes and any outcome in between, and then choosing. That's to me how I experience the double bubble.
Yes.
Whereas what I heard you say is, what do you want to choose to live with and die with, is a different, that's almost a end result with, die with, live with, how do I want to be experienced by my family, by my friends, when I'm here and when I'm gone. That's how I see that. Whereas for the individual facing death as a fear and feeling that fear, resisting the fear, and then being neutral about it is what the purpose of the double bubble is in my mind. So when you get to neutral about the fear of death, then you can choose how you want to live
Yes.
the days that you have.
And my question is that up to now, it's been easy for me to do that, to facilitate, not do, to facilitate that experience, Ginny. But I've always worked with people that already have a trust and a belief that they are more than their bodies.
So are you saying that you're questioning how to use it with someone that does not have that belief?
I think so. I was wondering about it. I was wondering if that would be the right process, and maybe it would not. That's helped me clarify that. Thank you.
Mhm. It may be,
Could
because
be.
whether you believe in life beyond the body or not, there's still this experience of death and the fear of it, and the ability to have some level of peace and neutrality around it, to be able to exist in the now and not let the fear take away the moment,
Mm.
regardless of the belief system beyond.
Mm.
It's my 2 cents. What do you think, Jess?
Structure. What do you want? Why can't you have it? What's the obvious action? Process is to let go of that, you know, because it's only in the moment. It's only what's right there with them. That's the only thing that matters. That you said, it's the moment of now.
Mm. Mm.
Mm.
Moment of now. It's like, now, what do you want? Are you so here I'll share is like a how could you experience being?
How could you experience being? Only in the now.
Good. So how would you lead someone through that? So in now, what is it that we can experience?
A lot.
Yeah, everything, something, and nothing. I
Yeah.
understand. So let's
Okay, so-
focus it on something.
Yeah. So the something is you can experience breath.
Good.
You can experience thought.
Mhm.
You can experience connection.
Mhm.
You can recall.
Let's go
Even-
fundamental to humans. Let's go fundamentally humans. It's like the simplest form. What one thing that we could experience?
Love.
Mhm. Here, I'll go with a time.
Mm.
We have time. Yeah, in the 3D, we have time and we have space.
Yes.
Those are the only two. Those are the two simplest things that I know of, that we have a time and a space that make up this reality. We all have it, and no one can take my space. You can't fill my space. I can't fill your space. But we can share time.
Very good.
So when I say space, what do you fill your space with?
Love.
Yep. So that's a charge. Because it's not always love. You don't always fill it with love. You
Yeah.
fill it with a charge. What's always filled with space is a charge.
Yes.
Always. Always. I don't like, that's as simple as I can get it.
It's very clear.
So we're always being charged.
Mm.
Positive, negative, neutral. Those are the only three charges, nothing else. Only three. And there's only three things for time. There's only, if it's time and space are the fundamental things that make us alive, that create the structure of life. What are the three times?
Past, present, and future.
So there's six things we listen for. Really two things, because it's you are filling this space and being a time. And what do you want? Where does that take place in terms of time and space?
Mm. 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 For me, it's always love.
And what charges love?
It's so wide. I don't know if there's. It's positive.
Positive.
Yeah.
Good. Yes. And so what percentage of that are you in your day, in your life? As you look back the last 48 hours, how much love were you?
Mm.
At least 51%.
There you go. 51% love. So you're majority love. So majority positive, because most people relate to love. So hate love.
Mm.
Attach a negative feeling to love for me, please.
Oh, try to hate on love.
Yeah.
Can't.
You
Can't
can't
do
see
it.
the structure. You can't. You'd have to learn how to do it. Yeah. And then some people probably do.
Some people hate happy. We found that out.
Again, there's a structure. Well, that's because you can't have it.
Mm.
That's different. That's different.
That's important to distinguish.
Without a
Yes.
doubt. Yeah, but
Yes.
it's still the same way. Yeah, it's still in that. And so it's like, all right, 51% is love. What's the other 49?
Patterns, confusion.
No, you took it out. You took it out of positive, negative, and neutral.
Oh, 49% is either neutral or negative.
Give me your number.
The last 48 hours, I'd say 25% negative. And what's that? 24% neutral?
Great. Wonderful. It's aware of being space. And so you can do the same thing with time. What's your majority of time?
Mm.
Hmm. 48 hours, I'd say present. I want it to be more than 50, but I don't think it was in the now, in the present.
So which was the majority then?
Would you call awareness neutral? No, awareness would be present, right?
Are you
So you
trying
could be
to
aware
fit
of
it
a
in? Are you
negative.
trying to fit it in, or?
No, I'm just thinking if I'm aware that I'm in a negative feeling, that's still being present.
Mhm.
Okay. I think my awareness is probably, it's more than 50%.
Sure.
So
What is 50%? What?
Awareness, present.
Present. More than 50. Well, okay. So give me a number. 50. How much of you are present in your 48 hours, in your last 48 hours? How much of it is present?
55.
55. Great. What's the next one then?
Then 25 past. 20 future.
Great. So in both cases, you're in places that you don't want to be. You're both of them, they're not working. Yeah. because
Mhm.
it's to be now and it's to be neutral is the great place to start. Now you're doing well with the positive because it's like, oh, I'm going to be with neutral, yes, and then it's like then I can choose whatever the situation is of how I want it to be. Yeah. If I'm thinking to the future, yeah, I'm thinking at the future, I'm like, that's ignoring the now. Now, the point of it is not to be structured in what's right or wrong. The point of it is that people are aware of their being. That's all you care about. Look at their pattern. That is their pattern. And you ask someone this question that can't think about it, they're going to tell you what you need to hear. And at the end of the day, you don't care because they're going to tell themselves what they need to hear and be like, oh, that isn't good. Yeah, you keep playing that shit. That's all you care about as a guide, as a coach. You all had some sort of awareness when I put your attention on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ah, yeah, that's an obvious action. Ah, oh, done. Processing's complete.
Yeah.
So many we want to keep going on it and be done with it. Yeah, there it is. Now I was working through the example with you so that you could sit in it, observe it, allow it, because when you experience it for yourself is the only way you can guide it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Right.
So your structure then has 6 points to it, or
Mhm.
3?
Really two.
Okay.
What do you want? Why can't you have it?
Time and space.
Time and
Oh, time and
space.
space.
It is the most fundamental that I can get to that says we're alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just have to run to the washroom. Sorry, I'll be back.
So tell me more about space. I want to make sure I'm clear on that. Like you can't share space with me physically because I'm in Florida and you're in California. Is that
Spaces
what you
are
mean by
matter. Spaces are matter. It's our
matter?
denseness.
Okay.
It's our matter. It's matter. Matter.
Okay.
It's our physicalness.
Physicality, body
Mhm.
moving around. Okay.
Thoughts and emotions, yeah, that time. And then really what I find is like with our thinking goes to the time. And so that's really what I'm pulling apart is where's our orientation to time. So many people are focused on the past, reliving the past, going forward. So we're going through time forward, but we're focused on the backwards.
Okay.
That is the
So if
majority.
someone is
And so if you
talking
bullshit
about
me,
something that happened yesterday and they're still replaying it, they're on that merry-go-round.
mhm.
Where do
usually-
we separate that from garnering the wisdom? Like you asked me in the last 48 hours. So I have to think about the past. How did I spend my energy, my time and space? So you can gain wisdom from a previous experience and see like a pattern, which you helped me with relationship pattern, right? Shut down versus fight. So it's sometimes good to look back to see how the pattern played out.
what's the word for that we use?
Wisdom,
Reflection.
reflection. Okay. Sorry,
You
I
have
had a
to.
call beep through.
You have to reflect. I mean, part of awareness is reflection.
Without charge, it's neutral.
There you go.
So
when
it's
we attach
observing
the
in the
charge.
moment, reflection of the past.
And all the purpose of that exercise is to let go. That's what you're doing is letting go of it. So when you're aware of it, it let go. And so everyone asks, well, how do you get rid of it? How do you do that? And it's well, you put awareness on it. You let it go. Awareness, let's go. Awareness, let's go. Awareness, let's go.
Hmm.
You can't hold on to it when you're aware of it. Try it.
Okay, so when you're aware of it, you could still have unconscious patterns repeat themselves.
That's completely different. That is completely different. That is a pattern. That is a charge. That is happening. Yeah. Now we're talking about how do I replace it? Yeah. How do I take and you do that by new actions?
Okay, I
You
found
can't go back
yeah.
and that way. I mean, you can mentally, you can do it because you can do anything in the invisible.
Mhm.
But my
Oh,
point again with that was to point it in, like what I did with the gentleman is like, we know that situation is going to come up again and you don't like it. You don't like that outcome of that situation. Replay it so that your body knows that it can do something different. And you can see what your body does in the moment without the pressure, without the charge, without the real situation. And you will unpack the hell out of it, and it will be less charged next time. Guaranteed. It's a guarantee. I can't guarantee if it's going to be gone forever or if it's going to be there again. I can't tell you that one. That's your problem.
Hmm.
so JC, there was a short clip. I didn't send it to you because I wanted to check with you first whether you'd seen it, but Jenny and I were watching it, and it's about changing habit, right? So the thing that was really interesting is that they can see now in research that if you repeat a pattern and immediately as you've repeated the old habit, if you then immediately introduce a different behavior, or it can be a replacement behavior, it can be something completely disconnected, doesn't matter.
An anchor, yes.
If you bring in a new behavior, it begins to change the neural pathways of the habit. And that was, yeah,
What else? How does the recode work?
the recode works at removing.
It's a
And
replacement when you
Resistance.
say the next action. It's a replacement. It's a could.
Yeah,
I mean, that meditation, now what you could do with that, or now that you see that awareness, now what will you do? Now what could you do? And all you're doing is putting a new, I could do something new in that.
yeah.
It is a rewire. It is without a doubt a rewire, because you have to replace it. Otherwise that energy is going to keep going through there.
Yes, but I mean, I go back to what was really interesting for me is that as long as you bring in that new behavior, you don't have to work so hard at releasing the old one.
No, not at all. No, that's the awareness. Yeah. 100% I hear you now. Yeah.
So
And it's an added bonus. Here's an added bonus. It's like you go quicker. The shortcut is quicker when you put a new one in there that they want.
Yes.
So that is the shortcut. And so add value to it is like not only aware, but then give them a replacement quicker.
a desired replacement as opposed to anything.
So Jenny, what I was thinking about, like when we work
I'm going to
with,
use the restroom myself. My
Okay.
turn. You
Your
guys
turn.
can go.
Actually, me too, but I'll listen.
Jenny, go if you want to, because then I'll repeat it when Jesse comes back. I'll go and look for that clip, but I'll explain something when Jenny comes back. I've got a little bit of a question with it, but I think I have it right.
I'm back, but I'm gonna bring the trash can up and it'll be noisy.
Okay, so but I'll talk, so it's okay. All right, so Jenny, when we take that little clip that you and I watched and we put it into the context of health, and we take it to the context of, say, for instance, sugar addiction. So from what this guy was saying, what I got to was that when we succumb to the sugar addiction, if we have the presence of mind to immediately go and do something that we know is more aligned to our end result of health, then the more we repeat that, the less we have to pay attention to releasing the sugar addiction, because our bodies will begin to do it for us.
Your true choice. Just replace it with your true choice.
Yeah, but when you're chemically addicted like that, Jesse, you don't always have the capacity at that point. So there's the chemical addiction, then there's the awareness, and then there's the true choice. So what I'm saying is, even if you have the chocolate, the cake, the bite that you shouldn't have, or whatever, when you do it, if you're given the realization that immediately then you go and drink 4 glasses of water, or you go and walk, you don't have to pay attention to the fact that you did the sugar thing at that specific time. It's what's important is what you did afterwards, in behavior as well as self-talk. But that's what the experimentation shows. And I think to give people that kind of information with chemical addiction, I mean, that's a whole new world in terms of facilitating the release of chemical addictions, right?
Yeah, I hadn't thought of it from that point of view, like after the fact, but it's the same way as we learn to be aware of the now, or the moment, or the thought. As we're learning it, of course, it's already happened, and it's like, I responded, I reacted. Those two are so close together for me that it's, I wish now what I do next matters.
Yes.
Because typically what happens, we beat ourselves up. We
Yes.
judge ourselves for doing that. And that is a new moment of now. And in all reality, it's a choice, but it's more of a pattern.
That's right.
So whenever we can allow that to be as it was, which is the past, so you see the focus is continually on the past and not into the future.
Yeah. So
that's why starting with what you want is always important, and no matter where you're at in the pattern.
Exactly.
Because you can always break it when you go, what do I want?
Yeah. And
unless what you want is the chocolate cake.
And you do, right? I mean, there's there's a want too.
Yeah, it's an additional want, right, Jenny? So anyway, for me, this is what I found so wonderful about this research, is that you really, really can then bring in structure, and the importance of structure, and the I want to say faith in the fact that your body will facilitate this for you. right? Yeah. Okay, so now where's your water? I mean, that's a big, it's a huge big thing. And for me, it just flips treatment. I don't like the word treatment, but it flips it, the way in which it's being approached in the majority now, it flips it on its head.
That's why, like, I'm thinking for this, like my work with a group here is like that anchor. So it's like when we have this, that that desire, right? That craving, it's like, all right, anchor, there it is. Anchor it with what we want, and we remember to put it on, and it's like that steps it out. That's how I say we get to 60, 70, 80%.
Yes.
And as I was speaking about it, one of the other guys says, oh my God, he says, Jess, he said, I had a habit of getting in the car driving drunk. He was like, that, too many of those. He says, now I got this magnet. He says, I put it on the side of the car. He says, I don't do it now. I said, yes, that's an anchor too. That's a great demonstration.
Mm. That's wonderful.
Because of course, everyone wants to know, well, how does it work? Tell me, did it work for you? And it's like, I can tell you all day long, but you have to experience it. So a guy just validated what I was talking about for you. So.
And that, I'm sorry, I keep on repeating this, but it's that your body will help you. We've got it where our body systems will help us.
When you're not broken.
Yes.
If you're broken, it won't help you.
That's right. Thank you for that.
When you're powerful.
Yeah. When you're all of you.
But if you're a problem, you're broken, you're addicted, have a disease, you have whatever that we can't overcome, it's got control of me. No way in hell.
Yeah.
And if you're going to tell me more information, it's just going to make it worse.
Yeah.
Back to structure.
All structure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm reading this document, which is what they shared with me that we read at our session. And it says, coping with feelings and moods. This course reveals to counselors how individuals in recovery from an alcohol drug program or a mental health problem can learn about emotions and develop strategies to cope with them. Inability to understand, recognize, and manage feelings create problems in relationships and is a risk factor for relapse following a period of sobriety. This also impedes recovery from mental health disorders. You can improve your physical or mental health, finally, like we can improve it finally after all of that. Your mental health relationships enhance your recovery. Everyone wants that, right? And reduce your risk of relapse by learning about your feelings and ways to manage them. You can also improve the quality of your life by decreasing negative and increasing positive feelings. That's all we had to focus on was that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Positive and negative. What space?
Yeah.
And a fun one to say is like part of it, why I add neutral is because people will play the Ginny role there and say, I'm 50-50. And there's nothing to work with 50-50.
But neutral is really important, Jesse, because it's the pause. It's the could.
Yeah. And so there's a way to like spring it on them, but I haven't found a good way to like spring it on them in a way that's useful, because that is the starting position that's best. And double bubble really helps people see the difference. Double bubble really helps people see that space when they're in the wizard's gate, when they're in neutral. They can see that, oh, I only have to turn this way and it's positive. I only have to turn this way and it's negative. And the problem is that they've been living on the edges
Yeah. Yeah.
rather than in the middle.
Yeah.
And most people are living on the edge of negativity 90% of the time, even though they will never tell you that.
Yeah.
You can assume it's 80% of their life.
Yeah.
So call their bullshit when they don't tell you it's 80%, especially the first time you work with them and you can hear the problem solving. Pin them on, nah, I hear about 80% negative. Because again, that judger, and then you can say, well, what's your self-talk? What's happening in your head? You know, what's your charge about that? Or what's the space that you're filling it with? You know?
Hmm.
Wonderful. It's time for me to go get lunch.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah,
you,
loved it.
Gigi.
Love it. Thank you guys. Thanks for showing up.
Thanks, guys. It was really good.